Okay, so you did half of what she did in one day.
No.
Once.
No. I did. No. Adrian, I did 40% of what she did every day once. Small things add up from places that you're not expecting. Don't then rely on your wearable tech to say that you can eat 800 more calories that day because it's doing you a disservice.
I'm not afraid at all. I don't really care all that much. And you seem to have your panties all up in a bunch about
Dare
it.
you chauvinistic
Nevin,
pig.
what really grinds your gears?
You chauvinistic toxic masculinity, Adrian right
Sorry, I
here.
couldn't help it. It was my male privilege.
You are triggering me.
It just was rising up out of me.
Triggered right now. The guys are using a 12-inch log.
Which I think is a little unfair because I'm a short person, a short person, a short person, a short person. And I feel like there should be allowances made.
Should angle it away from you so you can't look at yourself. We're still looking at the camera. But before, and this is more to like make sure everything is good, is that I feel like you're sitting a bit too tall. Gotta make it more realistic. No, don't do it. Hey, man. Get.
I'm in charge now.
Get your ass down. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Big Flex.
Welcome back, everybody. Back again. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. Got busy again.
Really busy, actually. And then this time we didn't have one of those COVID lockdowns and things just stayed busy. It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been unbelievably great, actually. I actually almost don't believe how busy we are.
Yeah, very busy.
Good.
We're actually interviewing someone new this Saturday.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. But yeah, we have a few things to talk about. First of all, before we start though, subscribe, yo, because I know that 95% of you that watch these videos don't subscribe because statistics tells me that. Come on, help us out, help the analytics out, and just go up ahead and squat on that subscribe button.
Who doesn't love statistics?
Everyone loves a little bit of statistics. I think more analytics, which is statistics.
I mean, hand in hand?
Hand in hand.
Yeah.
Hand in hand.
Moral of the story, like and subscribe.
Please. Okay, we're up to like over 430 though, which is worrying because we're on the way to 1,000 where we have to do 1,100 kilo squats between us, and I'm not even squatting right now. So when we get to like 750 people, like 3/4 the way there, I'm gonna have to start squatting like a significant amount to get ready.
I'm not.
You're just gonna do it all heart?
I'm just gonna, as someone that we both know, a great man once said, it's all about heart.
It's all about heart.
It's all about
all
heart.
about heart.
Yeah, I'm just gonna will my squats into existence and then it'll happen.
Well, we'll see how that goes after your first 50 squats, and then you just like tap out and have to do 950.
Poorly.
We had a fun little event last weekend. We didn't host it. It was hosted at Power to Empower Gym. It was the Static Monsters Perth 2021 competition.
It was an interesting comp for a few reasons.
It was really fun.
Yeah. First of all, take us away. Megan crushed it.
Yeah. Well, we had three. We had three people. Well, let's say we had three people.
We
compete.
did.
We had
Okay.
Claire,
We'll
Fiona,
go
and
through
Megan all
everybody.
compete. And for those of you that aren't up to date on what Static Monsters is, it is a strongman competition. It is not your standard strongman competition with 4, 5, 6 events. It is 2 events, and the same 2 events every single time. It is a log clean and press to start. And then it's finished off with a wagon wheel axle deadlift. So a
And
fat
that's not
bar.
the delicious wagon wheel treats that we all know and love.
No,
It's an
it is
actual
big old
what wagon wheels really are.
steel wagon wheels.
Yeah.
And the because the wagon wheels are very big, and we'll put some photos up. They're very big. The pool starts at 18 inches from the ground, so it's a little higher than a normal deadlift. So you get some good juicy numbers in there as well.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And on the day, everyone did great.
We had 3 ladies competing. We had Claire, Fiona, and Megan.
Yep.
I only mentioned Megan, although I should have. Sorry, ladies. Should have mentioned the others as well. They all did amazingly and got PBs. Megan got some huge PBs as well that put her in some fun places.
Yeah.
And then it just got the competitive juices flowing.
Ooh.
So we have some exciting news to come.
Ooh. So with what did they do? So basically, none of them technically got a PB on the log. All right. Now there's a few reasons for that. Fiona has been training on 8-inch log here. Handles were a little bit wider on the log she had to use in the day, and just a little changes in how you set up makes a huge difference on what you can actually press. Maybe there were some nerves involved in there as well.
Especially
So didn't
when
quite
you-
get a PB on the day, which is fine.
When you're lifting close to your max weight, little changes make a big difference.
Big difference. Now, Claire and Megan were both training on the correct log, their 10-inch log that they were using. And Claire didn't get a PB, but only because she was nervous and didn't want to have a crack at it. So she matched her PB comfortably. There was a few more kilos in the tank.
She definitely could have got an easy PB on that one.
100%. And then Megan's all-time best in this gym was 93 kilos, and she did 91 on the day. And the reason for that is 91 kilos got the state record and also the national record for static monsters. However, there has been a bigger log lifted in a Australian level strongman competition, which was 100 kilos was the record. So if you look at like every lazy boy is a recliner, but not every recliner is a lazy boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like every like jacuzzi is a hot tub, but not every hot tub is a jacuzzi,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Is that Megan has a record, but it's not the open Australian record
Yep.
for her weight class. It is
Okay.
the static monsters record, which is still a fantastic achievement. And then we went into the, she had a crack at the 100, who were 100.5, which would have been an all-time record. She cleaned it up, couldn't quite get the press,
make it.
cleaned it up again, didn't quite get the press this time. But next time, it might be there, which would be great. Then went the actual deadlifts, and that's where all the ladies absolutely crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Fiona got a 12.5 kilo PB, Claire got a 15 kilo PB, and Megan also got a 15 kilo PB, which gave her, again, the state record. So really, really good there from all three of our competitors. And we enjoyed it so much, we decided that we're going to jump in next year.
Yeah, we decided that it wasn't going to be competitive at all, and we're all just going to be super friendly about it and just enjoy ourselves. So, what? in the typical fashion, everything in this gym is hyper competitive, and we've already started trying to set what the winner has to do and what the loser has to do.
Yeah.
But we decided, a few of us actually have decided that we're going to compete, and I've already started recruiting as well. So hopefully we'll have about 10 people.
Yeah. So now, hopefully in 2022, we're going to have, 8 to 10 people doing powerlifting comps and a whole bunch doing strongman comps as well, which would be very cool. And the static monsters is so good because one, all of the proceeds go to charity. It was going to Beyond Blue was all that went this year from that competition. Which is great. So it's done for a good cause. And because it's only 2 events and you know what they are well in advance, you can train. So it takes out those nerves of not having to train for 10 events that might get cut down to 5 events, which is what you deal with a normal strongman competition. You have to train for basically everything until 8 weeks out, and then you get your 5 events, and then you train specifically for those. So
we've basically got a whole year to train 2 exercises.
Yeah, exactly. I started on Wednesday.
Same.
Yeah. Very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited.
is.
So much so that I'm going to have to buy some more equipment. No, now, I know I said I wasn't going to get
Hold on,
anything
can you
this
just splice
financial year.
That edit of you being like, I'm never going to buy any more equipment. I'm going to stick to my guns. And
I
then
don't
just-
know what podcast that was on. So if you can tell me,
find it for
I'll
you.
splice it in. Now, here's the deal. I know I wasn't going to get... Holy smokes, rewind.
What?
Didn't even do the intro music.
Oh my
Welcome back to the Big
God.
Flex, everybody. So
You're going to have to cut that to the front.
Yeah.
Just blatantly cut it in and then return back to here.
I'll do that. So I'm gonna have to get now.
How did you remember that mid-sentence?
I don't know, but
How dare you!
basically,
right,
I
what are we
didn't
talking
want to
about?
get any more equipment. Now, there are a couple things that I need to get for the gym. The first of which is the 12-inch strongman log. Now, because at Static Monsters, there's 3 different logs, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch. The reason why they do this is to promote and get everyone to join in. A 12-inch is more intimidating. It's a heavier log to start.
And
It's like,
so for people who don't know anything about the log as well, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, it's just the handles.
no, it's not the handles. It's the width of the log. The
width of-
No, not the length. The width. The diameter of the
Diameter
log.
changes, but then as the log gets bigger, the handles go wider
The
and wider
handles
as
go
well,
a little
right?
wider as well.
And so that's a lot to do with the difficulty, I think, is
Handles,
the most of why.
and the diameter itself, or the circumference of the log, because the wider it is, it puts it further away from your chest, and it makes it harder to press. So there's varying degrees of difficulty. Now,
with
if I was to
people-
check the 12-inch, the 10-inch, I'm not sure. I think the 12-inch might only be a tiny bit wider in handle width than the 10-inch. But we'll see when the log comes in.
From the one that I used, the yellow one, that felt like a huge.
That wasn't a standard log. That wasn't a standard log. Okay. So basically, we want to get the 12-inch in. 1, because we want to actually practice on what we're using.
Yep.
2, we need to standardize what we're doing. And 3 is 12-inch is the standard for men in strongman competition here in Australia and worldwide. If you go to the Arnold Classic, any proper strongman event, the guys are using a 12-inch log.
Which I think is a little unfair because I'm a short person, and I feel like there should be allowances made.
Well, I feel unfair that I have to pick up the log further and press it further than you. I mean, between the 12-inch diameter of the log and your T-Rex arms, you're going to have to press it a total of 6 inches.
Yeah.
Right? So that's unfair to me.
Could you imagine if I pressed it 6 inches, but it was easier for me to press it 6
Hey,
inches?
even wider is even less range of motion. So there's pros and cons for both of us. But we need to standardize it. And if Big Gav and I, and that's the standard. It's like, 12, we don't, when you squat, we don't squat with a 20 kilo bar because it feels nice. So when we did powerlifting, we had to do 25 kilo bar because that's the standard. Right? For GPC.
All right, fine.
Okay, good. Decided. We're going to use a 12-inch log, so I'm going to get the 12-inch log. Also, we have to get a pair of wagon wheels to train with as well.
No, we
Because
don't.
we set up the boxes and mats and this and that, but it's like, just get the real thing.
Mildly inconvenient at best.
Cool. So I'll get a pair of wagon wheels, and Gav and I will train with those, and you can set up the boxes if you don't want to use the wagon wheels.
I'm not saying that I don't want to use them. I'm just saying you don't need to have
We don't need them. The girls are fantastic, but I am a big believer in specificity.
You've got these big old wagon wheels in here.
If they're not getting used regularly, I'll put them up in the mezzanine storage. But I think will get used regularly. I think they'll get used regularly. Like it's a good standard to do.
Okay.
And then the last 2 things that are going to have to happen at some point is I'm going to replace those 2 benches because they were just sort of entry level fixed bench presses with proper powerlifting, benches.
Oh, cool. So like how many people need to bench press for static monsters?
It's not for static monsters. It's like, that one's already getting a little loose, right? And so when things start to break down, you need to replace them. And these were entry-level ones 3 years ago, so eventually they need to get replaced.
So you're straight up going back on your word to not purchase anything else at the end of the financial year?
I might not purchase those until the end of the financial year. I might wait on the log to the end of the financial year. It depends on if we want to wait and start not train with the right equipment for that amount of time. We'll figure it out, Adrian. First of all, I said the first half of the financial year, which means as soon as January 1st comes along, I'd be allowed to get these anyway, guilt-free.
Are you going to get a Christmas tree with just enormous boxes underneath it for the gym with all of this stuff?
Enormous boxes with something heavy inside? Maybe. Maybe I will.
I'm not upset. I just like to call you out as often as I can. I feel like that's very important.
Right. So
someone's got to keep.
We're going to have a little wager as we get close. I feel like the 2022, we've not had a good run of mano-a-mano battles here. We drew the first squat challenge.
Yeah.
I blew my back and ass out before the powerlifting meet.
Yeah, if anyone remembers, we were going to compete
and go highest gloss sprinter
in the states state powerlifting comp, and so couldn't compete, which sucked.
Yeah. So we need something. But that's a long way away. It's like a whole year away. So maybe we'll figure something out for the first half of the year.
How would we compete? So we need a fair playing field, right?
Correct.
We need a fair playing field to be able to challenge, to battle each other.
100%.
But how do you make that a fair playing field? If it's standard, right? We're using the same equipment.
Yeah.
And then I'm shorter, so I don't have to deadlift as far. I could just push jerk, and then I don't have to press the bar as far. Like I've got clear advantages with my height. You're a lot heavier than me and can get a lot heavier than me, and you'd have clear advantages with how much muscle that you can put on your body versus me on mine.
Right.
It's just it's not like a equal comparison. It's kind of hard to say like, well, just do it and it'll be fair. Like, what should we be aiming at?
So that's a good question, and I'm not sure. We know we can't do a straight body to weight power ratio because power to weight ratio because that favors a lighter person. That's why we have coefficients in powerlifting.
Yeah.
One option that we could do is we could do some sort of adjusted Glossbrenner score where technically it's a deadlift and a log press, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe we put in the weight for the log, we put it into the bench press, and we put the weight of our actual deadlift into the deadlift, and we just take whatever the Glossbrenner score is there. I don't know if that would be fair.
You could probably make your own formula. We'd have to go get all of the list of like weights of all the competitors and add all of that information. And
that seems like far too much work.
We could do it.
Maybe we don't compete against each other. Maybe we set ourselves some side goals. I don't know. Maybe this is TBC, guys, to be continued. But we are going to be competing next year in about a year. So we got a long time to train for it.
Let us know what you think and how you think we should.
How do we make this fair?
Yeah.
How do we either standardize it somehow, or do we just do it for individual goals and just do it as a team? I'm not sure. We're down for your input. So let us know what you guys think.
Yeah. And if you have any good ideas about how we can compete, we'll start to get our clients to compete as well, because we're going to get a whole bunch of people. And the more competition, the better.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you think.
We're still going to do a pole dance off at some point.
We are?
Yes.
Since when?
Since we talked about this before.
Did we?
Maybe I was just talking about it with everyone else. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I talked to you about it too. Was that we're going to go down to, I think it's She Moves around the corner.
What do you mean?
Yeah, we're going to go to She Moves around the corner. Now I'm going to wait till I'm a little thick up in here, guys. All right, so I'm going to wait till I drop a few more kilos here. So this is definitely going to be a 2022. Maybe that will be the challenge next year as well. 2022 is we're going to do
Why pole dancing?
Because what we're going to do is we're going to go to She Moves. Now I'm going to fund this lesson here. Then you and I are going to get a lesson. All right. And
one lesson?
Maybe 2 lessons. I'm not made of cash here, mate. All right. You can fork in and help out as well if you want. Okay. But basically, I'm willing to pay for us to go down to She Moves for a session or 2, maybe 3, and learn some moves. And then what we have to do is we need to come up with a 30-second dance routine on the pole. And we film it, and we put the 2 videos up, and then whoever gets the more likes wins the pole dancing competition.
You know I'm going to absolutely smoke you.
Probably.
Right?
That's why I need to lose some weight first so I can actually hold my body weight up on that pole.
I've done some pole dancing before.
Yeah.
I've dabbled in a little bit of everything.
That's all right.
I'm going to smoke.
Mate, I got all heart, man. All right? I'll will it to existence.
Okay, so then there's different types of pole dancing. Are we going to be going stripper heels and sensuality? Or are we going to be just going for straight athleticism?
I guess use a choice. So the goal, we'll set parameters. The goal is...
Who wins and why? Is it just purely on the votes of the people?
Who has the most entertaining routine? And whether that's because it's just funny as well as... I don't know. Maybe there needs to be some sort of... I feel like anything is going to be a little bit subjective as opposed to objective, because unless we have to hit 3 certain moves in that 30 seconds, and then you can sort of judge the whole routine but also see who did the moves well... I
feel like if we're going to be doing something like pole dancing, we should have it be total creative control. You get to choose what you do. You don't even have to do that much pole dancing. But obviously, if you don't do any pole dancing, people are going to be like, boo.
We should do it. We should do it to the same song though, so that we have a starting platform that's the same. So we should decide on a song.
I didn't even know if we should do that. I think the 30-second routine is good, but if you have complete creative control over what you do and I do over me, and we just let the people decide, right? It'll speak for itself. If you do some really impressive stuff on the pole, that's impressive and people will enjoy that. If you do a funny routine or an artistic routine, I think that'll speak for itself, because you could just phone it in and have it be crap. But I think we should just keep it completely separate and just go nuts with it.
All right. Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. We'll do something like that. So again, we're not picking a date just yet. Got to get in shape first, all right? Drop a few kilos.
Why?
Because I can't do pole dancing yet.
Hey man, dad bobs are really popular this year.
I'll still be a dad bob.
Dad bobs are really popular.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll get there. So these are some things that are in the mix, guys, all right? Stay tuned and get ready for that.
You can't just drop pole dancing on me and I have to on the fly think about how I could compete with you on it. What do you mean?
We've already talked about it on a podcast. I'm sure I could find that. Anyhow, moving on to this weekend, guys, GPC Invitationals, all right? It is the newest and most exciting thing in powerlifting in Western Australia in quite some time.
Well, Nevin, what are the GPC Invitationals?
Well, Adrian, the GPC Invitationals are a GPC powerlifting competition, sanctioned competition, set up here in WA at Ruchi's gym. And basically, everyone that was interested had to apply for it. Mm-hmm. And what they did was they took the top 15 Glossbrenner or most impressive lifters that applied from around the board, and those people are competing. Top 15 men, top 15 females. Now, originally it was going to be open Australia-wide. Unfortunately, because of lockdowns in different states and whatnot and border closures, I'm not sure how many people from other states. I think there are a few people that have come in from certain states that aren't locked up.
Yep.
But it is still going to be a really, really impressive day with some big lifts. And we have Megan from this gym competing, which will be really exciting. She's going for some big PBs as well.
And what does it mean if she does well at this Invitationals?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
Well, there's prize money for the winners and for all the competitors, which is pretty great, which is what you want to see because powerlifting and strongman, they're such niche sports, there's very rarely prize money.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so, I think they're going to do this biannually, which means every second year, and just to keep, people looking forward to it and keep it fresh. But yeah, look, she's already established herself in a short time as a top 15 lifter. Now, this is top 15 across all the weight classes. Right, so she's a top 15 power lifter in Australia, which is fantastic, and she's obviously a 2-time, going on hopefully 3-time WA state champ for strongman.
If she was able to compete,
at nationals, I'm sure she'd be ranking over there as well. Yeah. So, very exciting. So that's I'm going to be coaching that this Sunday. I'm really looking forward to seeing that and some of the monsters lifting.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what else have we got going on?
We got some controversial news coming from our friends across the ditch there in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. Would you like to say what happened there, Adrian?
I feel like I'm just going to let you rant.
Hang on.
With this one.
What's up? Don't be afraid. Say what you're thinking.
I'm not afraid at all. I don't really care all that much, and you seem to have your panties all up in a bunch about it.
You chauvinistic
Nevin,
pig.
What really grinds your gears?
You chauvinistic male, toxic masculinity, Adrian, right
Sorry,
here.
I couldn't help it. It was my male privilege.
You are triggering me.
It just was rising up out of me.
Triggered right now. So triggered right now.
Would you just shut up and tell them?
So New Zealand. Now, before I go into, I would like to applaud New Zealand. Very progressive, forward-thinking, some place. But you know what? I'm trying to soften the blow. I'm trying to soften the blow here.
It's just say it. Just say what you want to say. All right. Just let it out, Devin. Open the
They
floodgates.
got a great rugby team. Okay. They got a really good rugby team.
Great. If you haven't watched the police recruiting ad, you should watch that.
Okay.
The New Zealand police recruiting ad. It's just hilarious. Everything they do over there is just really
New
funny.
Zealand is very good at ice curling. All right.
They are?
Yes. They're good at curling, hurling. I don't know what they're called. Curling.
That. Yeah.
Rugby. I think their cricket team is okay.
Really
they got some good directors. Yeah. Lovely scenery.
Lord of the Rings was shot there.
Lord of the Rings was shot there. Beautiful,
are you ever going to get to the point?
Beautiful country.
I'm just going to leave. Get to the point, Nevin.
New Zealand, you've swung too far. And what they've done is they've given New Zealand Sportswoman of the Year to Laurel Hubbard, who is the transgender weightlifter.
We have spoken about her before on the podcast.
Okay. And why? Why New Zealand? Why? Sportswoman of the Year.
She's an amazing female athlete.
Well, here's the thing, Adrian, is that she went to the Olympics.
She did.
Very controversially.
She did.
All right. Some could say that she took a woman athlete spot.
She did.
Because she is not a biological woman, which is factual. Mm-hmm. All right. Not just my opinion. She's a biological male that has transitioned to become a female.
Yep.
So she took someone's spot. She went to the Olympics. And what happened at the Olympics?
She bombed.
She bombed out, which means she did what? She could not successfully land one single lift.
And she didn't place? How did she?
No, she did not place. Yeah. She was disqualified because she did not land one single acceptable lift. Mm-hmm. Yet she won Sportswoman of the Year, right? Lisa Carrington won 3 gold medals at this Olympics. She's a canoer, right? She won 3 gold medals.
But not just in this Olympics. She's won
5 gold medals for New Zealand. 3 in this Olympics.
Would you say she's arguably one of the best athletes in New
Arguably
Zealand?
one of New Zealand's best athletes of all time.
Yeah.
And she won 3 gold medals for New Zealand at this Olympics. And they gave Sportswoman of the Year, one not to a biological woman, and to someone that bombed out in her sport. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but it is hugely disappointing, and I feel very bad for all the actual deserving people that could have won that award.
It doesn't really...
It makes 0 sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's not even that it's wrong or it's right or it's good or it's bad. It just doesn't make sense. If you're going to give Sportswoman of the Year to someone, it's not going to be to someone who didn't do well in sports.
That's right.
Year.
She did terribly in sports.
Yeah.
She bombed out.
And not even that. It's not even that there's no good comparison. There's a fantastic comparison.
There is a super, super great person that could have won it.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense to me. I feel like the world's gone a little bit crazy.
The world has gone a little bit crazy. This PC stuff it's gone too far.
It's ridiculous.
It has. It's
ridiculous.
It's getting close. It's getting close to your new podcast. And anyways, next week, Nevin is going to be starting a new podcast called
We're not going to do that just yet. But we might do that in the future.
That would be fun.
Yeah, so that happened over in New Zealand. I have no idea why. It makes no sense. Look, if you think that she's brave and an inspiration for people to want to come out and transition, that's fine.
That's awesome.
That's great. But she doesn't deserve the
be,
best sportswoman of the year.
Exactly. She can be an inspiration. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Everything she did is great. She just didn't do as well as other women that were more deserving of that award.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And so what you've done there, and here's the thing, guys. You want to be trans? Fine. You want to be an inspiration for others? Fine. You want to do what you want to do, as long as you're not hurting anyone.
You want to
do
be
what you want to do.
the
no
woman
problem
of
with
the
that.
year, the sportswoman of the year.
If you want to be
New
woman
Zealand,
of the sportsman of the year, don't bomb out in your sport.
Yeah.
All right. So what you're doing is you're cheapening the award for everyone else that's gotten it before and for everyone that gets it in the future. So congratulations, New Zealand. At least you still have a good rugby team.
That you're just going to be able to always say that. Is that ever going to be something that you can't say?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
No. Here's the problem. Why does Australia suck at rugby?
They don't suck. They're just not quite as.
Why
good
haven't
as
we won
New
the
Zealand.
Bledisloe for over like 20 years? Why?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know either.
Yeah.
I do know. There's actually a lot of reasons.
Why?
Is anyone that's listening interested in rugby? So people are like, oh, look, you got 21 million people. New Zealand has like, I don't know, like 8 million, whatever. It's a lot less, 4 million, whatever it is. They actually have significantly more registered players than us. And so if you're looking at the total population pool, it doesn't really make sense because all 21 million people in Australia aren't playing rugby.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at registered players, they have over twice the amount of registered players than Australia does.
There you go.
Really? If you're looking at registered players, South Africa has way more than New Zealand and Australia. So really, South Africa, they suck at rugby, even though they do all right, and they were number one in the world and they had the World Cup. Yeah, because you have like 3 times as many people playing. All right, get better, South Africa. All right, Springboks. Get out of here with that hot trash. Also, problem in Australia, why Australia has really declined in rugby since it's become a professional sport. So when it was amateur turning professional, Australia was carving up. And I was deceived because when I first started watching rugby back in like 96, 97, Australia was killing it.
Yeah,
we were winning everything. It's like, man, Australia's wicked. We've not won anything since
That's why I
then.
started playing rugby.
Right, it's great. But that's when it was sort of verging, just becoming into this professional era. In New Zealand, like I mentioned, apart from rugby, like, don't have much going on sporting-wise. I think they got some netball.
What are you talking
They
about?
got some cricket.
We have AFL, one of the greatest sports that you see all over the world in every country.
Only on the television because it's only played here in Australia. Yeah. But this is one of the reasons why Australia lags in rugby union now as well, is that because while other countries like New Zealand are able to focus on their sports that they're doing really well, that are international sports, Australia has AFL, which has over 1 million registered players. That's 1 million people that could be playing rugby that we don't have. Yeah. Athletes, good athletes, playing a stupid sport. So I'm sorry if you like AFL. Grow up.
Man, you're just all over everything today.
Grow up. Grow up.
Woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Grow up.
Jeez.
So we have people playing AFL
I feel
and
like
rugby league. Here's the big one. We have a heap of people playing rugby league, and over east, where rugby is much bigger than in WA, league and union, all the public schools, where there's a lot more of them, play rugby league, and the private schools play rugby union. Yeah. So you just don't have those kids going up through those grassroots playing rugby union. Yeah. They're playing rugby league, they're playing AFL, they're playing soccer.
Needs to be way more unified. It's how you grow and progress.
Which is why we are starting a petition right here, right now to cancel AFL.
Hashtag cancel AFL. I don't think that's going to go very well.
It's going to be great. Hashtag cancel the AFL. Cancel AFL.
Yeah, cancel it.
Cancel AFL.
Let's us two stop that whole sport.
Yeah, we cancel AFL. It's the name of this podcast.
I played AFL when I was younger, and without any external influences, just decided on my own that it was silly, and then started playing rugby because rugby is just better. It's I feel like objectively just better.
Yeah, I think.
But from like an international standpoint as well, like AFL is always just going to be an Australian sport. It's never going to, if it was going to be popular enough to spread out throughout the world. AFL, it would have.
Oh,
if it was going to be popular enough to do that. Yeah. And I feel like the sports industry in Australia isn't as big as it could be, even though
it's shrinking. We get less and less and less government funding. When I was rowing at school,
even though we could grow other sports and become just get more funding because we have more kids going to higher levels who are then going to play in other countries and vice versa, and it just doesn't make sense. I don't
know where the money went, but I know that when I was finishing up school, 2005, I was part of the waist rowing program, and there was like a huge program going.
Wasn't it one of the biggest or something in the world at one point?
I don't know. All I know is that there was like 40, 50 rowers with the waist rowing program. It was a huge program. And in the Olympics, I think it was 2004 Athens Olympics, I want to say that 20 out of the 40-person rowing squad that went to the Olympics came from WA. Like, it was huge. And now there's like 5 scholarship rowers for weights. I'm like, what happened? Like, I don't know where's the money? I don't know.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Because that's one thing that Australia seems to be really good at. Sport.
We used to be really, really good at sport, and I feel like it's declined a little bit, unfortunately.
It has. And I
do you
think
know
it's
who's
'cause everyone's spending all their time
holding it
playing
up for
AFL.
us? It is the female swimmers are doing really well.
They crushed
We
it,
have
didn't they?
good female swimmers. So guys, get back in the pool, sort it
Every now and
out.
again, we have like one really good guy that just makes up for all the other guys.
Maybe.
Just get one of them back.
Don't have any Phelps. Not since Ian Thorpe.
Yeah.
Come back, Thorpe.
Yeah.
Thorpe Peter.
Or just another angry tennis player to yell at people and break stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he was an American.
What? Leighton Hewitt.
Oh, so did he used to break stuff too?
He used to break his rackets all the time.
Yes,
He was
get
Australia's
around it.
bad boy
Ooh.
of tennis.
Who's it?
So-
Come on! Come on!
Exactly. As cool as you can be while playing tennis.
That's right. Yeah, get around it, Leighton Hewitt. Yeah, that's an issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, hashtag cancel AFL. We're gonna try to make that go viral. I don't know how, but
I feel like that's not going to go viral. I feel like you're just going to... There's too many people inside of Australia. Start it outside of Australia and it'll be popular. But inside of Australia, you're going to get... Can I say shit? You're going to get shit on.
nah,
No?
cancel AFL. And here's my gripe with AFL, guys. Apart from taking legitimate athletes away from... And don't get me wrong.
He's so fired up today.
Don't get me wrong.
Did you have coffee today?
No, a decaf. Don't get me wrong. You got some trash athletes too, all right? Some absolute trash athletes.
Who's that?
I can run in a circle for an hour and a half. No one
What,
cares.
AFL?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got some trash athletes too. But you do have some really good athletes that could be playing rugby. And they're taken away from that
Who was the
sport.
guy who went from AFL to NFL? There was a guy, wasn't
No,
there?
it was NFL, went to AFL for a while. So he was NRL,
vice
then to
versa.
AFL, and then well, two of them. There's Carmichael Hunt and Izzy Folau.
Yeah. They did like okay, didn't they?
Yeah, they did okay. But they're not football players. They're rugby players, really, you know? Different sport. And then they both came back home, which is good. So apart from taking away from the athletic pool of the sport that I love, is that it's a sloppy game. Maybe that's why Australians like it. It's a sloppy game. You get rewarded for being sloppy. So like, it means like if you're going up for a mark,
Hey, Australia, quit being sloppy.
well, you know,
Sort yourself out.
It's the whole she'll be right attitude. It's like, no, she won't be right. Do it properly,
There's
please.
I don't feel like there's that much for skill, right? You're slapping at the ball and
This
grabbing
is what I
at
mean.
it and-
So it's like if you go up for a mark and you like tap it 3 times, that's good enough, mark, and they still dropped it. It was close. We'll give it to them. That makes no sense to me. You got to actually catch the thing. And if you're like don't want to catch it, you just like slap it along the ground.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll just keep slapping it. Yeah, you turn the ball over in rugby if you do that because
Exactly.
you didn't have
It's
the
called a
skill to.
fumble.
Yeah, you
It's
didn't
literally called
hold
a
on
fumble.
to the ball.
If you
Right.
fumble, you're not very good at the game.
That's right.
Now the other team can have it.
It rewards sloppiness. So
It's not as skill intensive. I feel like
Yeah.
and so many people are gonna be like, "Oh, there's plenty of
and
skill in there."
their tackling is
In
really poor
comparison-
as well.
in
You can't
comparison
do
to
anything up
other
below the
sports.
knees. They can't actually tackle properly. It's
I
just
know they're
hilarious.
not allowed to tackle. They're allowed a hip and shoulder, and they're allowed. It's like this weird in between. It's in comparison to other sports. Other sports are better. AFL by itself, standalone, have fun. But in comparison to other sports that are, and this isn't subjectively, arguably, just objectively better, because if Australia was a bigger sport and it was more popular, it would have spread throughout the world by now. It has not, and other sports have successfully.
Right.
So it's a good indication of how good a sport is how well it's accepted and then integrated into other cultures and countries. That just has not happened with the AFL, and I think for very good reason.
Yes. Cool.
Which also upsets me that like hurling isn't more widely accepted. Those freaking Irish people are crazy.
Yeah.
It's like rugby mixed with hockey mixed with murder.
Don't get me started with hurling.
Why not?
I don't know much about it. I don't know anything about it. Yeah. So here's what I wanted to do next, guys. Before this podcast, I said, Adrian, I want to get a little clickbaity. I want you to go on YouTube. I want you to find out what the big channels are talking about, like what's trending right now. And like 3 months ago, it was knees over toes guy. Like all the big channels like Athlean-X and Super Training and all these guys, they're all talking about the knees over toe guys. They have them under the podcast. They're doing his things. They're reviewing him. And because knees over toes is in the video title, more people are watching the video. So it's like, maybe we should do this.
Clickbait,
Not as a clickbait, like a clickbait title, but still have good content talking about that thing. But let's just find out what's current. So Adrian went away and he came back. He's like, cool, I got the top 5 trends of 2020 for the fitness industry. So not quite what I was talking about.
Be clearer with your instructions.
Be clear with my instructions. Yes. Extreme ownership. I was not clear enough with my instructions. But basically, Adrian went onto the American College of Sports Medicine Journal.
I did my best, all right?
And he found the a list of the top 20 trends in 2020 to do with health and fitness. And we're going to read them off for you and give our opinion, because who knows? It might help.
Hey,
right?
These were some of the biggest trends in the health and fitness industry, okay? And whether other people think they're popular or not, they are, okay?
Yeah.
They are.
Should we do it from 5 up and just do like a reverse, like a countdown? Coming in at number 5.
Sure, yeah.
Personal training. Well, duh. Personal training's great, guys. Switch up from 5 to number 1. Personal training. If you lack motivation, get a personal trainer.
It's a huge part of the fitness industry. And a lot of people don't have personal trainers because they're lazy or because they don't know what they're doing.
Or they just didn't know the value of it until they get one.
Exactly. It can help with a lot of things. It can help with elite level athletes or absolute beginners.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if you're looking for personal training, there's plenty of places that you can go to.
Right here in your northern suburbs.
Exactly.
Right? Amazing.
Number 4,
Free weight training.
This article, like, they qualified exactly what certain things are, so they put things into categories, and free weight training was just all weight training. So free
With
weights,
barbell training. Yeah, barbell
like
training.
all
Yeah. So like
weights,
not pin
essentially.
load machine, which is good. Yeah. It's good to see that people are starting to wake up that just pushing pin loaded machines all the time is not real weights training. It has its place sometimes, but if you really want to improve and be more athletic overall, free weights are the way to go.
Circuit training was in the list, but it was like 17. It was like way down on the
Circuit
list,
training
the
is
top
hot
20.
trash anyhow. So that brings us to number 3, which really grinds my gears, Adrian, is group training. Because group training and personal training should be switched around in that list.
Why is that?
Group training is good if maybe you're financially strapped and you want to do a bit more exercise, but you don't have motivation and you want to get a few other people around you that are doing the same thing.
But what if I don't really want to take my training like super seriously and just want to have a good time? You know, like vibe out.
If you just want to go vibe out, I guess you can go do some group training.
Look, I get the appeal for group training, all right?
Yeah.
It's really daunting going into the gym for the first time. Doing things by yourself can be a lot of anxiety people experience, like going to new places, doing new things. So I get the whole group class thing. You can kind of like hide a little bit amongst the pack. But you'd also go with friends as well, and it makes it like a genuinely enjoyable experience. Then you have that group mentality where there's a lot more accountability. But you just don't get that specialization that a lot of people need, which I think is a huge aspect that's like lacking in that scenario.
I too can understand the appeal to group training. But here's my problem, guys. You go to a group training where you have 1 or 2 instructors. I'm not going to say coaches. You have 1 or 2 instructors, and you're dealing with 15 to 20 people. So you tell me how those 15 to 20 people are going to improve their max level deadlift or improve their heavy squats. You're not getting hands-on attention. You're not getting periodized programs. You're not getting something that's specific to you.
Not even those main lifts.
You're not even getting
just training in general.
Yeah, it's just you're not getting what you need to really improve. And what people do is they go to group training, and it's just like the 24-hour memberships. They go there for a while. They get some initial improvements. That's great, fantastic.
Hit
and
limit.
Either they will then just coast in the background and cease to improve, or they'll fall out of it. Or if they want to continue improving, they'll come to get some personal training.
Yeah, I feel like that's the usual progression of things with people with group training. People who don't really want to do all that much will just stay in it forever. And then you get people who just improve and smash it. And then they just get to this limit where they need more and they just can't get it from that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess as well is that it comes down to your mindset too. When I lift weights, I want to improve on something. I want to like work really hard to improve it. And if you want to improve on a specific lift, you have to train that lift and the variations of that lift and the technique of that lift. And when you go to a group training class, very rarely you're going to be doing the same thing, like because the whole thing is they don't want to get stale. They're constantly changing everything. So you never have enough time to really improve the one thing that you want to actually improve. Yeah. So to me, I just can't get behind
Not even that, not even just the weight training. Because a lot of group classes don't even just focus on like lifts or weight training. They do a lot of other stuff like Pilates classes or boxing classes or like group training in general. I feel like you just can't pay that much attention. As a coach who has done group training for years, you just can't give people the attention that they need and deserve. You can't.
It's impossible.
It is. It's just not really an effective way to train people.
Because you would not get anything done in the session. If you like, I'll train 2, and on one occasion I train 3 young guys here at the same time. We have an hour-long class, right? An hour-long PT session, and we were going over deadlifts, and they each did a handful of sets, but I can't just let this guy go off and do deadlifts because his technique is not working well, and just focus on this guy. Like, and if you have a group training class with 15 people, how do you get them all the right technique?
Exactly.
How do you make sure they're actually doing it correctly? So I'm not a fan. Anyhow, I think that should be further down the list. I think PT should be further up the list.
Yeah.
The next is HIIT training, high intensity interval training. All right, which I think definitely has its place. Now that also sometimes falls hand in hand with group training, right? So you got HIIT training, like F45 market themselves as HIIT training, and it's a group of people.
It's this hotly marketed. It sounds good. HIIT training. You can say it and it sounds sexy.
It does sound
quick
sexy.
and
And
easy.
there's 2 eyes in it.
You're fat and you lose weight and you only need 5 minutes once a month and you'll be in the best shape of your life. It's so dumb the way that it's marketed because
Well, it's great. They've marketed it fantastically, and it's blown up around the world. That's why it's number 2 on the trends for 2020.
It's a lot of people don't do it right.
Right.
A lot of people don't know.
Here's the
what they're
thing:
doing.
if you're doing 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, or a minute on, 30 seconds off, that's good. But you actually got to haul ass in that 30 seconds on.
If you don't feel like you're going to die, then you're not doing it right. High intensity interval training shouldn't be really that long of a session at all. If you're doing that for an hour in like a circuit class, like high intensity, that's not high intensity training.
No.
You get the same thing done in 10 to 15 minutes.
Correct.
Than you would in a whole hour. Anything more than that, if you have more energy left in your tank, you are doing it wrong.
That's right.
It should be submaximal to maximal style of training. And a lot of people don't know what that feels like because it's really hard to do. And it's just not done right really anyway. So I hate the way that things are marketed because they're marketed, unfortunately, for people who just don't know anything.
Here's the deal, though. Here's the deal. Though. They'll still go to an hour-long class, do the 30 on, 30 off, minute on, 20 off, whatever the routine's going to be. And then, like the F45, they do. They change the program all the time, right? So they have this group environment. So it gets people. And when people are going in, getting healthier, losing fat, fantastic. It's not conducive to strength gains. We know that. You're not going to get a lot stronger.
It's just not HIIT training.
You'll get a little stronger at the start because if you haven't done anything before, but not compared to if you were doing like a strongman style training, a powerlifting style training, or where you're having longer breaks and actually focusing on the lift itself.
And the programming too.
Correct. But if you want to really like just lose weight, get a heavy prowler sled and do a 20-second max effort. So as heavy as you can go, as hard as you can push for 20 seconds. Have 40 seconds rest, do it 15 times, and you will get more calories burned than your F45
literally
class
15 minutes total, and you're resting for 2/3 of the time.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you don't have a prowler, if you have an assault bike, like an air bike, ride your butt off as hard as you can.
As hard as you can.
20 seconds. Get to your absolute limit of force output for those 20 seconds, and then try not to die for the next 40. And do that 10 to 15 times.
And try not to pace yourself. Try to go full out for 20 seconds, rest for 40, and do it 10 times. And
that's what I say.
If you are not heaving and feeling like you want to throw up by the end, you are not doing HIIT
exactly.
training
If you don't feel
properly.
like you're going to die, you're not doing it right. And this is the only time that I've ever pushed myself hard enough to actually throw up in a workout was sprint training, because you push yourself that hard. And we don't get people in here and we're like, yeah, kick their butt and make them like throw up on the ground, because it's just not an effective way to train. You
Correct.
regulate people's training
and you want people to enjoy what they're doing.
Exactly.
And if you feel like they're going to die the whole time, no one enjoys that.
HIIT training, you shouldn't enjoy yourself. It's awful.
It's terrible.
Okay? But that's what maximal
So if
training
you go to F45 and have a good time, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. But that's just it. If you work that hard in 10 minutes, you'll do more in 10 minutes to lose weight than you would in an entire hour. It's so much more intense. And that's what high intensity interval training should be. So I don't like the way that it is marketed, because it's really hard to actually put yourself through that, to actually push that hard as well. And I don't like cardio. It's dumb. I don't do cardio. If I'm going to do cardio, it's going to be high intensity interval training. And I'm going to be working for 15 minutes or less, 20 minutes if I want to have a lot of rest. But it's just not what it's marketed as. And that's what annoys me about it. And that's why I think it's so high up on the list. Because if people actually did it properly, no one would enjoy
do it.
And no one would do it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's tough.
No way.
It's really tough. Yeah. There's a Tabata on the bike. 10 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 8 times. And
That's
it's so brutal.
I
The whole
actually-
thing lasts 3.5 minutes, and you want to die at the end.
I still haven't gotten through a whole 8 sprints without like stopping early or having an extra round of rest. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
The number one on the trends for 2020, wearable tech.
I'm sure everybody's seen the watches,
the Fitbits,
the bands, and
the rings,
all that. I actually haven't seen the rings yet, not in person, but that's kind of exciting.
or a ring.
Yeah.
All these things. And guys, when it comes to wearable tech,
Getting serious. We're
getting serious.
What are we doing here?
When it comes to wearable tech, unless you're an athlete wearing, proper GPS wearable tech,
Yeah.
your wearable tech,
Yeah.
it's hot trash.
What do you consider an athlete?
Well, look, you're an athlete?
Yeah.
No. So let me just step back and say
What do
why
you-
I said that. No, I say athletes because, for example, they wear the GPS units.
Yeah.
Very accurate.
Yeah.
Very
And
accurate units.
trackable, usable for training.
And
intensities.
it gives a huge amount of data to people. And I've had Lewis Dallimore on my Strength Institute podcast several times, who's a professional strength and conditioning coach. He was with the Western Force. He's over at the Kentetsu Liners in Japan at the moment. And he's the GPS guy. It's super important. You can see when people are fatigued, who's in shape, who's slacking off, who's working out properly and doing the games properly. You can see a huge amount of data. You know when to rest people, when to push people harder. So that sort of wearable tech, crazy important in professional sports.
Yep.
Okay? Or if you have access to it and you're trying to get to that next level. Really great.
Or you're a currently competing athlete at a more social level, I guess. You're just trying to improve on your run, swim, cycle, events, triathlons, that sort of thing as well. It's really good for building up information and improving like that as well.
Right.
But if you're just a regular person,
No. And here's the thing.
need that.
No. It's not about not needing it. It's not about not needing it. It's just, it's not accurate. Then none of them work well. Then none of them are accurate.
Actually, I've heard that about
and
a few.
I'm going to drop some studies.
Especially
I'm
to do
going
with
to
the
link.
sleep
I'm going to
stuff.
link the studies. I don't know so much about the sleep stuff. The sleep stuff's just weird. But I'm going to link the studies in the description. But basically, and this all comes from Lane Norton, PhD. He's a very smart fella, and I get a lot of really good information from him. So if you want information or resources on nutrition and science and sports science, check out Lane Norton. All right, Lane Norton. So basically, all the Fitbits, watches, all that sort of stuff, when it comes to checking your heart rate and how many calories you burn, because that's really, if you think about why do people wear these, it's to see how many calories they burn, how many steps they took during the day, what's my heart rate at, all these sort of things. It's terribly inaccurate for all of those things. So there's a study that looked at 7 of the most popular bands, rings, watches, stuff like that, and they compared it to, in the lab, a 12-point electrocardiogram, the gold standard of how is my heart working right now. All right. So they had the 12 points of all these little things all over the body. They also were breathing into a metabolic cart, which was measuring their carbon dioxide output and the oxygen they're breathing in. So they know exactly how many calories. Now, these are clinical grade things that they're using. They know how many calories they're burning.
As accurate
and
as
they
you could
know their
possibly
heart
get
rate.
with the technology that we have right now.
And they also wore all these 7 devices. And on average, when it came to looking at how many calories you were burning, the heart rate was closer. It was they were all wrong, but it was within 5 to 20% wrong.
5 to 20. That's big variation.
Huge variation.
Okay.
For energy expenditure, it was anywhere from 27% to 93% wrong.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when it's 25 to all the way.
Yeah. So it's oh, you burnt 400 calories. No, you burnt 200 calories.
Or
Now,
you burnt 50 calories.
You just don't know, right? So they're really inaccurate when it comes to energy expenditure, which unfortunately most people use them to track their energy expenditure.
Yeah.
So here's a fun little tip for you guys. If you are using Fitbits and MyFitnessPal and Apple Watch or this or that, Boom, or all these different devices, and you're using it to see how many calories you burn, so you know how much food you can intake, you got to take that with a pinch of salt. Find out what your basal metabolic rate is, so how many calories you burn a day, right? There's some pretty standard calculations online that take into account your age,
Google,
your gender,
how do I
your
calculate
weight.
my basal metabolic rate? And it's really easy to do.
Yeah. And then basically, don't deduct the exercise done. Don't add that in addition. So it's oh, look, my Fitbit says I burned 1,000 calories today. Don't go eat 1,000 more calories than what you know, because you probably didn't burn 1,000 calories. So when it comes to wearable tech, if you're using it because it's a reminder to be active, oh, look, I've done 8,000 steps, I should do 2 more thousand for the day. That's fantastic. 100% do that. If you're wearing it saying, oh, I burnt 500 calories, that means I can go and have 500 calories. Don't do that. because chances are you didn't burn 500 calories. And the chances are when you report those 500 calories, and here's a second study, I'll link in the description below, you're underreporting by accident, not your fault, but it shows that most people underreport or underestimate the calories they eat by up to 50%.
Yeah.
So if you're having trouble losing weight and you think you're eating at a calorie deficit because your watch is telling you that and you're recording your food, have a real good look at the food you're recording. Make sure you're adding your cooking oils, your dressings, the small things that add up. A pack of sugar-free chewing gum isn't calorie-free. It's sugar-free. You're still going to get 200 calories in that packet of gum, right?
Yeah.
So small things add up from places that you're not expecting. Don't then rely on your wearable tech to say that you can eat 800 more calories that day because it's doing you a disservice.
It is.
And that's me doing you a good service.
You get that little graphic? The more you know.
The more you know.
So I also heard that I don't know who, a person much more qualified than I talking about the...
Was it me?
The sleep tech. No, someone else, much more qualified than you. It was on the radio, actually.
Was it not my podcast with Ian Dunnican, Dr. Ian Dunnican,
No,
the
it
PhD
was-
Sleep Times,
it
where
was-
he said that it's all trash unless you get the actual...
Well, if you want to also listen to that, then also listen to that. But no, it was someone else. And this was like a very world-renowned scientist for his sleep study thingies that he was doing. It was someone way up there in the research field. And he was basically just saying that it's almost not worth having. Like when you could just go to a sleep study and like go involve yourself in a sleep study to find out that information versus just having the watch or the thing that measures you. He's like, it's so wildly inaccurate that it's basically not worth really using just because it's not accurate. Like there's no way to make it as accurate as the other stuff.
I feel like the sleep apps as well, it's strange because it's like, well, it's like, oh, you didn't get good sleep last night. Okay. Like, okay.
Help.
Like, what do I do? Like, what do I do next? Like, I think that's sort of where it stops. At least with your steps and your heart rate and this and that, it's like, oh yeah, look, I need to do more steps this way. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, oh yeah, I need to have better sleep. I'll tell my child to stop crying at 3 a.m. Like, what are you gonna do about that?
Well, from what he was saying, he was just saying that the tech is something you just put on your wrist. Like it's just not enough points of like record to like they can't put things on your head and actually measure like your sleep cycles
And your brain waves.
Exactly, it measures almost nothing. And so they're like, you need better sleep. Like, but how did you know it was bad? Like, there's nothing to actually record enough information to really make it worthwhile. So a lot of the technology he was saying is just like super basic and almost not even worth having.
Right.
So yeah, that was kind of interesting to hear.
Interesting.
If you really want to have a fun time and you want to make sure that you're sleeping well, there's an app you can get on your phone and you set it to start when you go to sleep and it only records when it hears noise. So when you're asleep and everything's silent, it turns off. But then when you make noise or talk in your sleep, it'll start to record. You have some really interesting conversations in the night. So
What did you say?
No,
3 more reps. three more reps.
So, my partner had a sleep that she was chasing bad guys, a dream in her sleep the other night. That was kind of fun. I was like, well, did you get them? She's like, I'm still chasing them. And then went back to sleep. It was hilarious. But a friend of mine used to do that. And you just record like weird loopy stuff that you say in your sleep. That's what you should be doing at night instead of using your Apple Watch to record your sleep. It's not accurate. It's like so widely inaccurate that you can't really rely on it at all.
It's good that they're, at least being number one, there's a lot of people aware of the stuff. They're looking into it. They're getting them. Just make sure you're using it for the right reasons. Use it for motivation. Use it to get at least, it's probably going to be accurate compared to itself. So like if you do a workout and it's like, hey, you burned 300 calories. Well, and next time, like try to beat that. But don't go and eat 300 more calories.
The law of averages will help you out there a lot. So if it's not completely accurate, none of this tech is. It's early days. Give it another 10 years and all of this stuff's going to be amazing. The more people buy things and the more advanced the technology that we have gets, it's going to be incredibly helpful. But right now, don't take the information that you get from these things as the law of how everything works. It's not that accurate, but the more you use it for yourself specifically, average everything out. If you burn 300 calories one day and 800 calories the next day and 100 calories the next day, then average it out and you'll start to, over time, based on what you specifically do, start to get some relatively reliable information to work with. If you constantly walk 10,000 steps every single day, you probably walk 10,000 steps every day. But if that varies from day to day to day to day, same with the amount of calories
check
you burn,
your weekly averages.
Exactly. Over time, weeks, months, you'll start to generate a little bit of information that you can use to more accurately gauge what your actual activity levels are. And that is probably more helpful than just relying on it.
At least
As if it's the word
the positive is that the demand is there. People are interested and they want it, which means that technology will continue to get innovated and pushed forward, hopefully.
More money in the industry. And that's kind of interesting as well, because as this technology advances, and it is, it's going to be so much easier to do what we do. Like going from writing things down on paper, like a monkey person.
Even just the last 10 years. It was literally, we went from doing paper-written programs only to then doing stuff through Excel because you get some cool spreadsheets, and now you have all these online app services where it's super easy, and there's the cloud where they all get stored so you can never lose it. It's amazing.
It is. And now we're using a program called True Coach. It's incredible. I don't know what I ever did without it. It's a completely integratable online thing that we use to do all of our
We're not even getting paid by them to say this.
Exactly. It's just really, really handy. I can look back through someone's progress from the first day that they started with like a touch of a button. It's super easy to look back at progress. We can graph things, measure certain metrics. Like it's so handy. And so we use that for everything now. But only a couple of years ago, like even this year, less than a year ago, we were still writing stuff down on paper like
a bunch of monkeys with pencils.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Outrageous.
And just with how fast everything's advancing, it's going to make our job here. Imagine if you could just put a watch on someone and it actually told you accurately what their heart rate was, how many calories they're burning in the session. You could like control their
Imagine if we could tell you actually how hard they were working.
Exactly.
This person only worked 80%.
We use the RPE
he had
scale.
another 3 reps in the tank.
Exactly. Oh! We've talked about this before, trying to gauge the difficulty of someone while they're working out. So how hard was that for you on a scale of 1 to 10? And someone says, it was an 8 or a 9. I don't think I could have got another reps. And you put 10 kilos on the bar and they smash the next set.
Yeah.
Super easy.
You get that more with like beginners to intermediates where they think they can't do any more, but they actually
absolutely can. And then you get
pushing.
some people who say they're like, no, that was like a 2 or 3 and then can't get any more weight on the bar. Like some people find it really hard to gauge their physical ability, their ability to push to their limit. And so if we could actually get reliable information that would tell us where the intensity of someone's exercise session is, that would be incredible, because then we could very specifically tailor what we do to get the most out of their sessions. And for people who, like Megan, who are going for some like top level athleticism, like trying to get the first or the second or the third, or those little 5%, 10% differences, that's the difference between winning and losing. Like that's such a big deal. So the future is exciting.
The future is exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what else is exciting? I'm going to shout out to one of our friends here, family friends, Erica Laurie. She just ran, and before I even say this, Jared's going to be real upset because he had this idea like months ago. He's like, I'm going to run the Bibbleman track and get the record because it's like 11 and something days. Yeah. Right? Sorry, Jared, because my friend, Erica, she just ran the Bibbleman track, 1,003 kilometers of it.
Oh my God.
In 10 days. She just broke the record by like a day and a half or 2 days or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did she sleep or did she just run the whole time?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her yet. I'm 100% going to get her onto the Strength Institute podcast and then just like ask her all the questions.
That's awesome.
But she, basically averaged like 90 to 100 kilometers a day for 10 days straight. I think it took 10 days and 17 hours.
Oh my, that's,
dude,
what?
It's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
But so, bit of a comparison, right? I did 50 Ks of the Bibbleman track when I was in like high school.
Over how many days?
Over 4 days. Yeah. We walked like all day, every day for those 4 days. There were like some activities. We got through like 20 to 30
was
Ks.
Your class just full of fatties? How do you only walk like 12 and a half Ks a day?
High school students, right?
Okay.
It was like 20 to 30 Ks, like a day, right?
Well, you just said 50 Ks over 4 days is 12 and a half a day.
It's probably more than that. I remember it being like 16 to 20 something Ks a day, and one day was like a 30K day. But that was like up hills and through sand and like across the beach.
She had to like wade through like water and
it's
there's
like,
a bunch
it's
of like
hardcore.
All the storms, these giant trees. I'll just put a photo.
Yeah,
of her climbing over a tree to get through.
It's
stuff.
not just like a nice Sunday run by the coast. Like it's a hardcore trail.
Yeah. So she went average 9 to 100 Ks a day for
Where does
10 days.
It starts
Albany.
Starts Albany to Kalamunda. Is that where it
finishes?
finishes? Yeah. Oh my Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That's super impressive.
So congratulations to Erica Laurie. I'm definitely going to get her on the podcast and I mean, like, ask her all the questions.
As impressive as running could be, because like as Nevin seems to think, running's pretty easy.
Running's easy.
His words, not mine. But.
Just go do it.
Yeah. All right, just go do it then.
Right. I could do that. I don't have 10 and a half days and a bunch of support team to help me. Right?
How much? So you did a marathon, or half marathon?
No, how dare you, sir?
Well,
I did for the entire 4 weeks leading up to my marathon. I was running over a half marathon every week.
How much was the full marathon?
It's 42.2 Ks.
Okay, so you did half of what she did in one day.
No.
Once.
No. I did.
she did.
No. Adrian, I did 40% of what she did every day once that she did for 10 days and 17
That's
hours.
amazing.
Yeah. It's mental. I don't know what drives someone to do that, so I can't wait to talk about it.
There's got to be a point. I'd love to hear that when you're a venture getter on here.
That's right.
There's got to be a point where you were like, I'm going to die. And then you're just like, maybe tomorrow, and kept running. How do you do that? That's super impressive.
How do your feet pull up?
I don't imagine well. That's just pure punishment.
So here's it. She's a physio.
Yeah.
Her sister was a physio and now a doctor. Her brother was a professional triathlete. Like they come from good stock.
Yeah.
But like, I reckon it would be helpful that she'd be able to like diagnose herself as she's going, like, oh, I've got this pain here. Like, make sure I do this tonight, and then like does this thing. I don't know.
That's outrageous. The ability to push yourself that hard.
Yeah.
The human body's only capable of so much, right? So it's just going to be dancing on the edge of your capability the entire time.
I mean, she should have started
pushing
here,
too
gone
hard.
down, and then come back. I think.
You know what I mean? Like not pushing too hard, but then you have to get the record. That's next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get her on here. That'll be cool.
Yeah, she's a weapon, and she does ultra marathons already. Like I'm pretty sure she's done the 100 one of the 100 milers in the US, which is like 160 Ks. Yeah. She's gone to New Zealand for marathons. Shout out New Zealand, like get better sportswoman of the year. She's done she's a very accomplished distance runner. Hashtag cancel AFL. So yeah, I can't wait to get her on here and quiz her about some of the things, because I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
amazing.
10 days, 14 hours, 1,000 kilometers. It's just mental.
How many hours a day was she running?
I don't know. All I know is that she ran the whole thing. Or she didn't run. I'm sure it's walk, run, sleep, walk. I don't know.
You'd need to sleepwalk. You'd need to run for most of it to get the record.
I don't know. How long does it take to... I know it took me 4 hours to run, albeit slow. I was a thick boy. 40 Ks, right? So... You know, people run marathons in 2.5 hours, 3 hours, right? So, was she running for like 8 hours a day? Like, because if she did a marathon, I'm sure she'd probably do it in like 3 hours, right, or less, right?
Like a relatively slow
So, was she
pace.
doing like a slow marathon pace for her? Was it like she running for like 8 to 10 hours
and
then like having a good
for
break?
2 to 3 hours, then have a big rest all day?
I don't know. So I'll get her on here and ask. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Guys,
forward
that's
to that.
basically everything we had to talk about, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got all of that off your chest.
Right. I think I feel good.
There was a lot.
Yeah. Feel good.
So yeah, look out for our next podcast. Hashtag cancel me.
No. We're not going to do that yet. It's the hashtag cancel me podcast.
Okay. And once again, guys, please like and subscribe. We want to get those numbers. We want to get up to 1,000 subscribers. When we get up to 1,000 subscribers, we've got a couple of challenges in the works. We want to get to them. One more thing, though. The food challenge. When is that happening?
All right, yeah. So we're going to update you on the food challenge here, guys. We did. So I'm a little disappointed. All right?
Why?
Because we've spent countless hours making now in the hundreds of tutorials.
Yep.
We've done, this is 24 podcasts from this one. I've got 15 or something with the other one.
Quite a bit of content.
There's a lot of content out there. Yeah. And of all this content, the most response I've had to any of my videos, is people asking, when's your next eating challenge? God damn it. So apparently,
What
you
about
don't
all the
care about
great
lifting
informative
weights.
content that we're giving you guys every day?
Is or once a month, but every day. We need to film some more. We're actually going to start stockpiling this week and next week, and then you'll get stuff weekly.
It's good problems that we've been having.
Yeah,
For
it's
such
good
a long time while I was building, my client base up.
It's not all about you. We're talking to them about.
I know. I'm just saying, like,
Right.
we had time. We had a lot more time to build up all of this content to be able to give you guys regularly. I know a couple of people have said, like, when's your next podcast? When's your next thing? We've been flat out finding it really hard to
Well,
find
maybe if
time
you all
to actually
subscribed,
do
we got over
this.
1,000 subscribers, then we could spend more time to make videos.
Yeah, we could
Anyhow.
hire more staff. And we could do way better content.
So what were we saying? Oh, well, I'm disappointed. Yeah, because everyone just wants eating videos. So I was going to do. First of all, list your in your comments what you wanted to see us do. What we are going to do is, because I got a little thick there, guys. I went up to 115 kilos. I went from 90 kilos. So I went from 100 kilos to 90 kilos to 115 kilos.
That's not a little thick, Nev.
And then I'm back down.
That's thick with
I'm
two
back
Cs.
down to 107.
Thick.
I'm back down to 107 now. And the day that I get under 100, we're going to do a 10,000 calorie each in one day in 10 hours. So it'll be like 3 or 4 meals, and we'll sit down and we'll film each meal. We'll show you the clock and the time, so you know it's just the same within 10 hours. So that's going to be our next one. So that will be when I get my chunky butt under 100 kilos, which will hopefully be in the next 2 months. All right. I also want to do a spice challenge because there's the Paqui chip, I believe it's called. Paqui chip.
Start telling me about this stuff.
Is meant to be the spiciest chip in the world. Here's the deal, guys. It costs $5 in the US. To get it here from eBay costs $100 so they don't ship to Australia. It's like, I'm not going to spend, for one, I'm not going to spend $200 on a spicy corn chip. So,
can someone from America just like put one in an envelope and send it to us?
I have some relatives over there. I might see if they can ship it across to us. Because the difference is outrageous.
See, I watched a couple of videos of people eating that, and you get those like really popular like pretty girl influencers, and that's like their whole dig. They're pretty, and so they review stuff, and they get millions of likes. And maybe one of my favorite videos on all of YouTube is these two girls doing it in bikinis because they think they're all that, and they just start like violently crying and throwing up.
Oh,
it's awful. And after seeing that, no, thank you.
No, we're doing it.
I would not like.
So we're gonna do that one. I will figure out how to get it here. Also, there's one called the Devil Toe. Apparently, it's like the world's hottest lollipop. So we're gonna work on some videos for you guys.
Like for a while, I was convinced we were friends. But
we're friends.
I feel like you hate me. Why? Why are we doing this challenge? Why the hot challenge thing?
Because I can't afford to eat or feed you 10,000 calories every month. All right.
But you can afford $100 chip.
No,
each.
I can afford a $5 potato chips, a corn chip sent across from a relative. Maybe we'll figure it out.
I'm not a fan.
But guys,
of this idea.
There will be some eating challenges coming up. There will be some challenge videos coming up. There will be more podcasts, and there will be some tutorials coming up soon. Okay, so please like, subscribe, share, comment, do all those fun things.
Let us know as well. If you guys have any good ideas for challenges, let us know, because we'd like to start doing more of them again. Mm-hmm. So whether it's eating challenges or hot chip challenges or anything to do with the strongman stuff we were talking about earlier, let us know what you guys think. If there are any good ideas, and it's not like we don't have to make a big deal out of it, we'll just get it and run with it one day.
Right.
Just like throw a challenge at you if it's good enough. So.
And if you have any questions for Erica Laurie, the crazy Bilderman track record runner, let me know, because I'm going to try to get her on here pretty soon. All right. Awesome. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Just about everything.
Yep.
That's the most of it.
That's it.
All right.
All right.
See you guys soon.
Adios, amigos.